One of the great many tragedies of the pandemic has been the sheer infringement of our rights. Many of us understandably have complied with the lockdown measures, but now, one whole year later, it is abundantly clear that extreme lockdown measures are unconstitutional. And to this end, we have seen constitutional challenges across Canada. Countless lawyers dedicated to the Charter of Rights have fought diligently for us to keep those rights. So today in this mini episode of Cancel This, I wanted to take a moment and let you know about the various constitutional efforts happening across Canada and how you can potentially get involved. As an advocate for free speech, I spent a great deal of time among people who share my love for Western freedom, and as a result, I've become inundated on a daily basis about what's going on. So to briefly add some context, depending on your province, the government has instituted lockdown measures that infringe on various individual freedoms as described in the Charter. Here are some highlights. Today I reported on a story in Ontario where a father of a 10-year-old girl is filing a constitutional challenge to reopen organized sports for youth. While professional athletes are allowed to continue playing and training, ordinary Canadians are seemingly prohibited. So parents like Jason Fielden have grown concerned for not only the physical well-being of their children, but their emotional state as well. Ryan O'Connor is the lawyer who's representing Fielden and has dealt with this thing before. One such case was the challenging of the government on the closure of gyms in Ontario. Here's what O'Connor said. In our view, the team sports ban unjustifiably violates several sections of the Charter. Firstly, it violates freedom of association. Everyone's free to gather in groups for a common cause, such as playing sports. Secondly, it violates the right to security of the person. Many people need sports to preserve their mental and physical well-being. Finally, it unlawfully discriminates against those who play in youth, women's, and disabled sports, while allowing able-bodied men to train as professional athletes and continue as normal. But this is one such case. Organizations like the Canadian Constitutional Foundation and the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms are doing amazing work in upholding our rights. The CCF is also challenging the quarantine hotels on a constitutional basis. And in case you're not aware, quarantine hotels are mandated by the government. So when you land in Canada, you'll be taken to this hotel where you'll be fined, confined, and forced to pay $50 for prison quality food. To make matters worse, one such hotel led to 2 women getting sexually assaulted. This is something which Liberal Health Minister Patty Hadju excused by saying that these women shouldn't have been traveling.
On entry into Canada, her passport was seized and she was forced into a taxi without knowing where she would be taken. She was forced into a federal-run facility under a federal duty of care by the Liberal government, and she was sexually assaulted. This is misogyny and a gross violation of her rights. The Deputy Prime Minister and the Health Minister have implied the victim shouldn't have traveled. Were they suggesting that she deserved what happened to her under their duty of care?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, every woman deserves to live a life free of violence and a life of dignity. But I will repeat, these border measures are in place to protect Canadians, and they will remain in place until such time that science and evidence indicates that it is safe to release them. The member opposite knows that this matter is under.
Jumping over closer to home, the Justice Centre's been working very hard in the West. Lockdown measures in Alberta mean Pastor James Coates could no longer hold in-person services, but he did so anyways and was thrown in jail for it. Thanks to the JCCF, he's now released. Similarly, in British Columbia, the Justice Centre is fighting against the government mandate that says in-person church events are prohibited, while protests are perfectly okay. This is just a broad overview of what's happening. My intention with this blurb was not to sound like a conspiracy theorist or to fearmonger, but to point out that these freedoms that we have, that we take for granted, were earned by the blood, sweat, and tears of those before us. These freedoms were earned in Vimy Ridge. They were earned on the beaches of Normandy. So it's incumbent on us to not take them for granted, and to this end I ask you to consider supporting these constitutional firms and use your voice to express the importance of these freedoms and just how lucky we are to have them. Until next time, I'm Angelo Sidoro, and this is Cancel This. If If you like that video and want to see more, please make sure to subscribe to the Post Millennial. For daily news and content, please go to thepostmillennial.com and consider becoming a member. For $5 a month, you can get rid of all the advertisements on the site. If you like what I'm wearing on my head, you can go to shop.postmillennial.com where we have beanies, mugs, and t-shirts. Please consider supporting the Post Millennial however you can. It's massively appreciated. Thank you.